Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to the gun bench here at 2A Acres. Got a little bit of a review for you all today. Bullpup, Keltec RDB rifle, downward ejecting bullpup. For those that's not familiar with a bullpup style rifle, basically it's a little bit backwards from a traditional rifle. You have your trigger up here. The action is actually back here. And your magazine actually goes here. There's no ejection port like an AR-15 out the side. Instead, I don't know if you can see, right there. So as you're firing this, they're just dropping right down. Hell, if you're wearing a big flannel shirt, you can open your pocket and catch the brass. It might burn your nipples though. So this particular rifle, I've owned this for, I don't know, maybe 7 years, maybe 8, I'm not sure. They've gone up in value, or at least their asking price has gone up. I don't know if I'd pay today what I paid back then. I think I paid $750 or $800 back then, and I know right now they're well over $1,000, and that's on sale. A good friend of mine for, Christ, 40 years, my old shooting partner, another Marine, he had bought one, really liked it, he recommended it. The main thing is it's not an AR. I love my ARs. Believe me, I absolutely love my ARs. They are the most proven platform that I am the most efficient with. But you spend 35 plus years working and owning and shooting the AR platform. Sometimes it's nice to get something a little bit different. The nice thing about this rifle, it shoots the same ammo. I didn't have to get a new stock of ammo. It shoots the 5.56 NATO or 223. I shoot the same ammo out of the same magazines. This is an AR magazine. Slaps in, like you've seen with the Lancer mag here, right in. Let me take you over to the bench here and do a little comparison. All right, don't judge me by my messy bench. So what we have here, it's a 17.1 or a 17.2, I don't forget, I don't remember the barrel, so it comes back to right around there. Total length of it, let's see, 27.5 inches. Don't judge my my old tape measure. This thing's older than me, but it still works. This is when we built stuff in America and built it right. That's the big advantage, is you can have a relatively long barrel and a short platform. Just for comparison, we have an AR platform rifle with a 10.5 inch barrel. Of course, that goes from your flash compensator, flash hider, back. Same thing here. I did total length. I believe. Now this rifle here, or actually it's a pistol. It's not an SBR, it's a pistol. It's got an SB brace. About 28 inches. That's with the brace completely collapsed. I do have a fold and stock adapter on there, so that adds a little bit more than an inch, but relatively, with an AR with a 10.5 inch barrel is basically the same exact length with the stock or brace collapsed. Now, why is that important? Well, I'll tell you why. 5.56 is optimized. This round was developed for a 20-inch barrel. When it's inside the barrel, it picks up velocity. It does most of its damage by velocity, by speed. The shorter the barrel, the slower that bullet's moving. So ideally, that's going to get its most performance out of a 20-inch barrel. As you go shorter, today's modern AR-15s are typically a 16-inch barrel, or 14.5 if you're doing an SBR. Of course, you can have it pin and weld it, bring it up to 16, and you're still legal. But there's considerably less velocity out of a 16-inch barrel than there is out of a 20-inch barrel. So here you don't have a 20. They do sell a 20-inch. I believe they call it the Hunter version. I haven't seen too many people out in a dare stand with a fucking bullpup, but whatever. That's their show. It's a 20-inch version. They also have a, I believe, a survival version that has a 16-inch barrel. It's a little bit shorter. Keltec has not updated this in quite a while. They just come out with major renditions, but not, or I'm sorry, minor renditions. There's a California compliant that doesn't have a pistol grip. It's just kind of got like a blade, and it's really ugly. So this particular rifle, I'll go over real quick. It is basically stock. Obviously, I've added the angled foregrip. I like that. The EOTech, this EOTech I've owned for, I don't know, 10, 12 years, and I tell you right now, I paid a lot more for this EOTech than I did this rifle. The magnifier, it's just a cheap little UTG, but with astigmatism, it really helps out with that EOTech. I'm not in love with the EOTech anymore. I think it's a great, dependable platform. It just adds a lot of bulk and weight to a rifle. And this is a firearm I don't use a whole lot, and it kind of worked out perfect on this platform, so this is where she lives. I did add, this is a flared magwell. I think it's a 3D printed part. I don't remember where I ordered it from, but it was really, really rough. I had to file it and sand it down before I installed it. It does work quite well at being able to drop it in. Now, there's advantages and disadvantages to this style rifle and this particular rifle altogether. Number one, if you're used to an AR platform, such as me and damn near everybody that's ever served in the military, it's a completely different battery of arms. So there's not muscle memory. It takes a lot of training to be very proficient, especially with mag changes and whatnot with this firearm. Right here, this is your bolt catch. I don't use that. Typically the way it seems, you gotta reach over, pull it up. It's on both sides. Everything's ambidextrous. Charging handle. Non-reciprocating charging handle. Of course, it can be switched from left to right hand. I'm shooting left-handed right now because, well, not right now, for the rest of my life, because of this fucking eye condition I have, and we'll go over that. I had to teach myself how to shoot left-handed. So I do appreciate the ambidextrous nature. I do like the safety here. just a quarter lock. You can do it from either side. Completely ambidextrous, including the ejection, because AR-15, one thing when you're shooting left-handed is you have to understand that this thing's ejecting the spent cases right in front of your face, and sometimes you're going to get a face full of gas if the gun's overgassed. With this rifle, it's dropping it out. Well, it's not the stock, but essentially the rear of the pistol is dropping it straight down towards your feet. So it is completely ambidextrous. That is a big plus. Negatives. See if I can do this. Rifle's charged. To inspect, I don't know if the camera's ever even going to pick this up. To inspect the chamber, you gotta look right up the injection port, and you don't have very good visibility. And if it does jam, there's really no easy way to clear it without taking the rifle apart. Maybe if you have a casing or that's stuck, you can run a bore rod through and knock it out, but it's not an easy gun in a situation where there's a misfire or whatnot. It's not an easy clear. To me, that's a huge negative. Not being able to easily inspect the chamber is a huge negative. I'm big on safety. I'm not liking that. More negatives. This handguard. It fucking sucks. It's not vented enough. Builds up a lot of heat. I don't know if you can see this. The profile. It's a pencil profile barrel. Assuming that they did that for weight, great. It's not the lightest firearm, especially not with the EO tech and this shitty magnifier. But I'm not a big fan of pencil barrels. As the barrel heats up, your group starts spreading out. The advantages of this in like a close combat scenario, kicking indoors, urban combat, it's always better to have something shorter. You have less firearm that you're swinging around the corner. I get that. And being a 17.1, 17.2 inch barrel, we'll just call it 17. You still have the muzzle velocity coming out of there as you would with a 16-inch AR or a 14.5. You literally have more muzzle velocity. So disadvantages, like I said, this handguard sucks. They do sell an aftermarket. I think Keltec makes one that does M-Lock. I'm not sure. There's a company online, I think it's called Lucky Irishman Gunner or something like that, who was manufacturing his own and selling them. I was gonna buy one, but for whatever reason I don't shoot the firearm that often and didn't see the need to invest the money. So that sucks. It's a Keltec. George Kilgren is a forward-thinking engineer, gun designer, and a hell of a guy. Nothing against him. I mean, he locks himself up. He comes in with some very innovative designs. However, the designs themselves are great. The company has a very poor track record of quality manufacturing and quality control. And it's got that typical Keltec cheap plasticky feel on everything, and you know, a million hex bolts holding it together. It just kind of gives it a cheap feel. The plastic, I mean, I don't know, could be like recycled plastic from super soakers for all I know. So that's the bad. The good, it's short, as you can see. The recoil impulse, it does have a adjustable gas block right here, which I don't know if you can see me turn that. Now, I've seen people online knocking these firearms, saying that they're either undergassed and not cycling correctly, or overgassed and recoiling pretty dramatically. It's because they don't have the gas block adjusted correctly. Once you get it tuned in, it's actually not too bad. Trigger on this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did do some trigger work to it. I didn't change anything. I think I just polished and stoned. It's really not a great trigger because you have op rods from the trigger that runs all the way back. I don't really know what more you could do, but this particular one, it is a little spongy. See, as you see, it's almost like a two-stage. You have a lot of free play, and then you hit a wall. It's a little spongy through the wall. It's not crisp and clean as some people say. And then your reset is almost not even tactile. That's it. So let's see what we have. About 5.5. Try it again. About 5.5. So we're going to call it 5.5. That is not terrible for a firearm like that. That's solid in the mil-spec territory for an AR. In fact, it may be even a little light for mil-spec AR. For what you're going to do with this rifle, this is not a sniper rifle. This is not a competition marksmanship rifle, especially not with that pencil barrel. 5.5 pound trigger, I think, is great for this rifle. I wish it was a little bit less spongy, but given the nature of it being a bullpup and you actually have linkage that runs all the way back, I don't think that's ever going to change. We're going to go set up the bench outside and we'll shoot the damn thing. Shoot at the steel plates on the steel target rack there. And by my rangefinder, we're right at 40 yards. It's not exactly a long distance shot, but it is what it is. Let's get some ears on. Alright folks, we're back at the gun bench. Let me show you. You've seen me take 3 shots, and I killed the camera and walked down range because I wasn't 100% sure if I just wasn't hearing the steel ding, or looked like they were shaking, but come to find out I shot at 12-inch steel targets from 40 yards and I missed all 3 shots. I don't miss 12-inch targets from 40 yards. So, but looking at this, and I haven't shot this in a long time, and lo and behold, see that movement? This tire Picatinny rail is loose. So I'm gonna remove the optics. Leave this one comes off just like so. Well, I'm gonna get this off and I'll be right back. All right, so obviously I got the optic off. I'm missing. So right off the bat, I can tell you, disappointed. In my gun box here, keep a lot of Allen wrenches or hex keys, and I only keep standard because that's what I work on, American rifles, American pistols. However, 3/32 is a little too loose. I had to dig a little deep into the box here. It's a 2.5 millimeter. That's frustrating. That's like my friggin' victory. It's a American made motorcycle that everything's metric on. Hey, that one's not loose. That one's not loose. Oh, look at that. Finger loose. Alright, I'm just going to do this one and then I'll go off camera to do the rest. What I'm going to do is one at a time, remove them. Or drop the Loctite on now. We're going to torque it down to feel. Alright, we got it back together. It's much more stable now. I'm going to go back outside. I'm not sure about the zero at this point, so I'm going to have to sight it in. And have you guys, how do you store your ammo? I typically buy in bulk. I store them in these bandoliers and strip of clips, 10 rounds to strip of clip. When I was in the service, we would get ammo in the bandoliers. So they would be in a little cardboard box, and it would be 3 strip of clips per pocket. So that's a 30-round magazine. I don't have the cardboard pocket, the cardboard box that goes in here, and we're just recycling these. So I pack 40 rounds per pocket, and then it's easy for me to keep track, keep a count on my ammo. Alright guys, so got it zeroed back in. It's a rough zero anyhow. I mean, I didn't, it's 40 yards. Looks like we knocked some of the paint off there. Little reflection on the Keltec RDB. Would I buy it again? Probably not. Price over $1,000 today. for $1,000 I could build a much better performing AR-15. Hell, I could build a hell of an AR-15 for $1,000. It's a different rifle. It's kind of cool. It's kind of fun, but it sits in the safe a lot. In a real world situation, it's staying in the fucking safe. So, no, probably not. And for that matter, I probably wouldn't buy that EOTech optic again. That was over $1,000. I've had it a long time, but I don't think I'd buy it again. I do like that it takes AA batteries that are always available. I don't like the size or weight of it. And I find it very difficult to co-witness backup iron sights through the EOTech. Which is probably why it's on that particular rifle, but this is an honest review of the RDB. Obviously nobody pays me for this. You see an issue I had. I don't know when those screws loosened up. I bet you it's been 1.5 years since I shot that rifle. I don't know, but there was at least 3 of them that were really loose, and that was why I was getting movement on that Picatinny rail, which, by the way, a Picatinny rail should not be secured down with Allen head screws. Come on, do better, Keltec. Sorry, George. Honest criticism. The other problem I think I have with that is the Picatinny rail itself. I believe it's plastic. Let's see. Alright, I take that back. It's not, but alright, we're gonna put this up. Stay armed, stay vigilant, stay out of trouble, and life is good. You didn't really think the video was over, did you? Oh, I shot, which means I have to clean. Should have mentioned another downside to this. It's fucking miserable to take apart and put back together. ARs, maybe because I've done it so much, I could do it blindfolded. Or at least with one eye. Ha! As you see, the barrel. I don't know if I'm getting this. Hold on. There's your barrel. Kind of an AR style barrel extension. Your bolt here. See, it's a rotating bolt, just like an AR. So it goes into the barrel extension, rotates, locks. Obviously it's a whole different. The gas system pushes a piston. Here's your charging handle. It could be switched side to side. Someday I'll explain what's going on with this eye here, and well, no, I won't. And I've been asked, you know, what happened to your eye? Why do you wear the eye patch? And well, it's purely cosmetic, folks. I just want to look like a pirate. No. It's a long story. A story that probably I'm not going to tell on YouTube. Just know this. There is an eyeball there. Just doesn't work properly. I've always been a right-handed shooter, so this situation is permanent. Might want to note I've got a little stub there for, yeah, little stubby trigger finger there. That's another, call it mishap, accident, whatever. It's another story I'm not going to tell on YouTube. Mainly because some of you guys are pussies and won't be able to sleep at night with all the gruesome details. Anyhow, both these situations, it's been a long, long time. Like I said, I'm a right-handed shooter, naturally. Finger came first. I adapted by using my middle finger. That one. Which works fine. It gets a little difficult with pistols because, you know, when you're gripping a pistol, 3/4 of your grip is going to be that middle finger is where all the strength is. Especially if you're shooting a revolver, especially if it's, you know, kind of a high-powered revolver. You want to have a hell of a grip on it. And using my middle finger for a trigger finger, I just don't feel as though I get that grip. That's why I don't have any more revolvers except for a couple 22s, and you know, they don't really have any recoil. But I taught myself how to shoot using my middle finger. That was pretty quick and easy to adapt. Then I had the situation with the eye, the incident with the eye. And when I got back up and going again, I had to teach myself to shoot left-handed, which it's old dogs, new tricks. I mean, I had to force myself. I didn't live here at 2A acres. I had to force myself to the range every day and shoot hundreds and hundreds of rounds on a daily basis until left-handed felt natural for me. And that's what rifle. Pistol, I've explained on this channel before, you know, my primary discipline was always rifle, specifically high power service rifle, iron sights. And I still kind of stick to that. I mean, times have changed. I got a lot of different kinds of optics, but you know, given the opportunity, I love shooting iron sights. Pistol, I've got pistols. Pretty good with a pistol. It's not anything I've been proud of or super proficient with over the years. I could probably outshoot a lot of law enforcement officers. I've been to the range with them, and yeah, but I am not willing to put in the time and the effort to train myself to shoot left-handed with a pistol. It just, a left-handed grip just feels so awkward. I don't have a pistol down here to show you, but I'm still doing a right-handed grip, using my middle finger for the trigger finger. My stub will rest on the slide or the frame, which is one reason why I never really cared for Glocks, because it's a low bore access. There's not a whole lot of frame for my stub to rest on, and evidently what happens is it rests against the slide, which is moving, and well, it hurts like hell. So I don't have Glocks for that reason. Nothing against Glocks, but it doesn't work for my situation. But yeah, I'm shooting right-handed using my middle finger, that one right there, as my trigger finger, and shifting my stance to use my left eye. There's nothing right about it, but it fucking works. Works for me. I've become quite proficient with it. I'm comfortable, and that's just the way it works. And I've yet to have anybody tell me that, you know, oh, you can't shoot like that, it's unsafe, because it's not unsafe. It ain't stupid if it works. Either way, I gotta clean this fucking rifle and put it away. Thanks for watching this shit.